I'm at 9181 Withers Lane in Sims Township, Cincinnati, Ohio, doing a sanitary lateral inspection for the purchase of a home. We're looking for any structural issues or anything that would be concerning to the buyer. Our access point is in the unfinished area. There's a small crawl space back in here. It's right next to the HVAC, but there is a breaker vent installed for the basement bathroom. So there is a clean out on the base of the stack for that breaker vent. There's another stack for the kitchen that looks like in the rear of this same little area, and then there's a third stack all the way on the right hand side if you're facing the house, back up in the crawl space area. But getting the equipment up there, this is the easiestly accessible. Yeah, this is the easiest way to enter the line. So the one that's by the little steps that go up into the crawl space, that one is obstructed by shelving that was built around it, and like I said, the other one that's on the far end be difficult because of the way this is all laid out for me to get my equipment back there to enter it. So we'll go through here, we'll run some water. This will it all goes into the same main lateral before it exits the house. We'll run water in a couple legs just to make sure that there is water coming through those. But again, just as every other inspection like this, we are limited by access. We can only go where we can get access, and obviously some things based off of liability also, like ways that we can get into things that won't, take any risk of any issues. So this is a weird little breaker vent. There shouldn't be really much going through it. It's kind of a weird setup, so we hope we can get through this thing better. I think I just went up into the toilet. Yes, I did. So this is sitting on a T, which is a little odd. So we may end up having to try to make a move here. Let's see. There we go. The camera lens is only about ½ an inch off the bottom of the pipe, and so isn't a whole lot of water, but I think this was kind of added later, so it's kind of weird. And so you can see as I push, as I let back, the water drains. So I was just pushing a bunch of goo through here. And so a lot of times on these PVC lines, you'll be pushing stuff and it builds up in front of you. So usually what I'll do is I'll try to push out, and then on the way back we'll take a little bit closer look at some of the stuff. You always end up having a little bit of, because I think this goes over into the area where the kitchen sink comes in. That's why you see usually a lot more goo and stuff in the line for the kitchen than any other line. And so this is pretty normal for the line to look like this here. You got all these other taps coming in. We should see connection on the top of the pipe, which would usually indicate that that's where we're leaving the house. There would be a clean out just as the line is leaving the house. And this is probably getting pretty close to it here, where it's dropping. And then that may be it right there. Kind of hard to see, but a little bit of buildup. I'm going to go ahead and run some water in the basement bathroom just to kind of get some flow going through here. There's not much flow, but it'll at least get us something to hopefully rinse the camera head off. Oh, I may have to turn that off because I think it's going to run. Yeah, it's going to run right into that clean out. Okay, so what we're doing now is running some water in the shower. They brought the kitchen sink in above the clean out, so, or kitchen sink, the bathroom sink down here above the clean out, so just want to, you don't want the water dripping out. But the shower is just on the other side of this wall, so it shouldn't take very long to get that water down to us. But we are already out 50 feet, so. Come on. Well, unless it comes in a lot further down the way than I expected, but because I think we should be getting close to exiting the line, or exiting the house. So we'll keep pushing for now. That water's got to catch up to us. So I'm gonna go over and check that tub, make sure that everything's draining correctly. I'm going to pause the video for a second. So the water is coming through. It just took a minute, and it's mainly because of just going through so lightly that it was probably somewhat coming through before, but I'm going to try to rinse this stuff off here. Amazing, one little tiny little bit of stuff can kind of, little pieces of grease obscure your view here. So we'll just continue pushing out and then see if we can find just a little bit of a, there we go, I think I might have made it a little better. So far, the good news is, throughout all this, is structurally the line looks really good. Just trying to make sure that you can see well enough and that we can make it all the way out to the main. Just trying to, there we go, get that rinsed off there. So they did use white PVC essentially all the way out, it looks like. Sometimes you'll find what they call SDR35. So this white stuff is called Schedule 40. Just a rating system for the pipe thickness, the pipe wall thickness. And the other stuff, the green stuff that you see sometimes, that is SDR35. A lot of times you'll see it switch over on the exterior, but based off the age and what was available. But we have made it all the way to the main at 122 feet. What I'm going to try to do is see if I can like rest the camera a little bit and see if we can get this thing rinsed off, but it's pretty difficult to sometimes to get a lot of this cleared off. As you can see, all it takes is a little bit of grease from the kitchen line and get on there and it sticks on there like a spider web or something. So I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to go up and I'm going to turn the water on in the upstairs on the far right of the house and some of those fixtures, and that way we can get some water running through a couple of these lines so we can see as we pull back to make sure that the lines are, that the water is coming out of those legs. So we'll turn the water off in the tub and then we'll turn on the fixtures upstairs. Okay, so we've got the upstairs fixtures running in the master bath, and the good thing is we have a lot of extra flow. It should help rinse the camera off a little bit. Like I said before, it makes it, I can see well enough obviously, but you just try to, want to make it as clear as possible. So the funny thing is because there's no low spots in the line, or because there's no issues, there's water levels not getting high enough really for me to rinse the camera off well. So we can see obviously well enough now, but there's been moments where it's just a little obstructed. So we have water running from the master bath and also from the laundry tub, so we'll be able to check both of those legs. But so far the line looks really good. Haven't seen any structural issues. The water's moving through well, which means you have a good pitch. And you can see in the bottom left hand corner how it's showing you an angle indicator, and that tells you how much drop is in the line. Minimum is about 1%. All you need is about 1/8 of an inch per foot for it to drain, which is roughly 1 foot of drop every 100 feet of length. So this is definitely more than that. This all looks really good. It's not really much to say when everything looks normal and everything is looking as expected. But you can see even on the side when it's under heavy usage, you can see the line on the side. It's not even, the water level never even gets up to halfway up the pipe. If you've got multiple people showering or you've got laundry going, the water level still stays, below halfway. Oop. Little leg there for it jumps out a bit. Yeah, that's where it goes from 4 to 6 inch where it exits the house. So this is where we have that little dog leg too, where we should be able to see a clean out in the top. It'll be right where the line exited, I believe. Kind of hard to see because of that. I believe it's like right here before it drops. I think it's right there. You can see how there is two pieces, two connections. And if you look in the top right hand corner, there's a little edge where you can see the factory edge on the connection. So that's where the clean out would be, right before the line exits the house. So I'm sure it's covered. It's probably in that front closet, and it is covered with carpet. So we should be able to see stuff coming in from the different connections here. There's one. That is possibly the downstairs bathroom. See, the water is still coming from behind the camera. You can see where the buildup in the goo starts. That's usually, we're getting closer and closer to the sink line. So, here we go. I believe we're back to the last connection was the tub from the upstairs bathroom. And this is most likely, we saw this, but now we have just enough water where it's overtaken a little bit of the lens. There we go. Right around, you can see all the extra turbulence. We're right around where that line comes in and connects. So it actually comes right up through this, and we are out of the clean out. So the line looked really, really good. I didn't see any issues at all. The whole line was wide open and clear. All the connections look nice and tight. All the legs that we were testing are all showing equal flow to what we are introducing into the line. So that all looks really good. You could tell the whole way back, like I mentioned earlier, the flow level never really got up high enough for the camera, and that camera lens is only about a ½ inch off the bottom of the pipe, in a 4 on the interior and a 6-inch pipe on the exterior. So the line looked really good. So not much to report. It's a great looking sewer line. So that's going to end the inspection at 9181 Withers Lane in Cincinnati, Ohio.